It's pretty much a guarantee that at some point in our lives, almost every single one of us is gonna have our heart broken. It's this universal pain, but it also feels so incredibly personal. So today, we're gonna get into why it hurts so much, and more importantly, what science actually tells us about how to heal.
It's a question that feels completely impossible to answer when you're in the thick of it, right? To really dig into this, let's start with a story about a woman named Kathy. Now, Kathy was an absolute force of nature. She was a two-time cancer survivor who stared down chemo, painful surgeries, the whole 9 yards. But a simple breakup, it completely leveled her. Why is that? And this brings us to what we can call the heartbreak paradox. See, Kathy had her life all planned out. Meet the guy at 27, get engaged, get married. But instead, she got cancer, twice. She fought it, she won, she recovered, and finally, she met Rich. The relationship was everything she'd been waiting for. But then, after just 6 months, he broke up with her. His reason? He just wasn't in love. And 5 months later, Kathy, the woman who beat cancer, was still an absolute wreck.
And this, right here, is the crucial point. This isn't about being strong or weak. It's not some kind of personal failure. The reason we struggle so much after heartbreak is that the very instincts we count on to get us through life, our gut feelings, our logic, they consistently lead us down the completely wrong path. We just can't trust what our mind is telling us to do.
So to understand why our instincts fail us, we actually have to look at what's going on at a neurological level. Because the reason heartbreak feels so totally all-consuming isn't just psychological, it's physiological. It's literally happening inside your brain.
Okay, this is the big one. This is the scientific finding that explains pretty much everything. Brain scans of heartbroken people show that losing love triggers the exact same pathways as withdrawing from an addictive substance. You are quite literally going through withdrawal.
And this just illustrates that disconnect perfectly. Your conscious mind, your instinct is telling you, I'm trying to figure this out. I'm trying to find answers to solve the mystery of what went wrong. But the reality? Your brain is just an addict, desperately looking for its next fix. And what's that fix? It's memories, old text messages, anything that gives it a little hit of the person you've lost.
So let's be super clear about this. All those things that feel so compulsive, so necessary, rereading old messages, stalking their Instagram, playing that perfect vacation over and over in your head, they are not helping you heal. Every single one is like taking a small dose of a drug. It just feeds the addiction, deepens the pain, and makes your recovery that much harder.
All right, so now that we get that we're basically fighting an addiction, it starts to make sense why our instincts are so terrible at this. They drive us to make two huge mistakes that just keep us trapped in that cycle of pain. The first mistake is this obsessive search for an explanation that feels, well, satisfying. Remember Rich told Kathy he just wasn't in love? That's a pretty clear reason, but her mind rejected it. The pain felt so immense, so the reason for it had to be equally massive, right? So she went on this wild goose chase, re-examining every single moment for clues that just weren't there. And all that does is prevent you from ever getting closure. And the second mistake? We put our ex on a pedestal. Our heartbroken mind is like this passive-aggressive Spotify playlist that only plays the greatest hits of the relationship. We just cycle through all the good stuff. Their smile, that perfect vacation, how amazing they made us feel. And all this does is make the loss feel 1,000 times worse. So the antidote to that is a big old dose of reality. You have to literally force yourself to create a balanced view. Yeah, you remember their smile, but you also have to remember their frown. You remember that amazing mountain hike, but you also have to remember the huge argument you had on the way down. That balance, it's absolutely crucial for breaking that spell of idealization. Okay, we've diagnosed the problem. We've seen how our brains and our instincts are totally working against us. So how do we fight back? See, getting over heartbreak isn't some passive journey you just wait to end. It is an active fight. And your reason? That's your most powerful weapon. This is your battle plan. We're breaking it down into 3 essential actionable steps. These are the things you can actually do to take back control from your addicted brain and really start to heal. Step 1 is all about forcing closure. You have to realize this. No explanation they give you will ever feel satisfying enough to take away the pain. So stop searching for one. Accept the reason you were given, or heck, even make one up for yourself. The whole point is to just declare the case closed so you can stop those obsessive thoughts. Now for step 2, this is the direct antidote to that greatest hits playlist we talked about.
You have to, and I mean have to, compile an exhaustive list of all the ways this person was wrong for you, all their bad qualities, their annoying habits, every single pet peeve. Keep this list on your phone, and whenever your mind starts to tell you how perfect they were, you pull it out and you read it. And finally, step 3. This one's about understanding the full scope of what you've actually lost. And to get this, let's look at Miguel. He was a 56-year-old executive whose girlfriend of 1 year left him. And for almost a full year after, he was completely devastated, barely able to function. And his story really brings us to this concept of voids.
You see, a breakup isn't just the loss of one person. It is the loss of so many other things. For Miguel, he lost his identity as being part of a couple. He lost his social life, which revolved around his girlfriend. He even lost his church community. He lost the activities they did together, like camping and weekly dinners. Recognizing these voids is so important, because to heal, you have to consciously go in and fill all of them.
So we've explored the neurology, the psychology of a broken heart, and we've got a solid battle plan. Now let's zoom out a little and look at the bigger picture, how this affects all of us and how we can support each other through it. If you have ever felt like your heartbreak was a real, legitimate illness, you were right. You were 100% right. Studies show that a staggering 40% of people experience clinically measurable depression after a breakup. This is a legitimate and severe psychological injury, and it needs to be treated like one. And this is exactly why understanding the science matters so much. When you see a friend or a family member going through this, have compassion, offer your support, and maybe most importantly of all, have patience. Don't judge how long it's taking them. Don't tell them to just get over it. Their brain is literally fighting an addiction, and that takes time. So the most crucial thing to take away from all this is if you're hurting right now, know that the fight is real, but it is not impossible. It's a tough battle inside your own mind, and you have to be diligent. But you are not defenseless. You have weapons. You have a strategy. You can fight. And I promise you, you will heal.